As a disclaimer, this airplane is not an Air India. It's not a Boeing 787. So please, let's not draw any analogies. But
Just hold
it's
it
a
up a bit.
sufficiently
Just
representative. Yeah, it's a
just hold it up
sufficiently
a bit.
representative. It's a representative airplane. Let's not go with the airline and the type of the airplane. So what you notice in that video is the airplane coming down and it crashes. Now, when you see an airplane not being able to complete a climb, and the other thing you notice is that as the plane comes down, its wings level, which is to say the wings are almost in the horizontal plane. You also notice that the tail of the airplane has a flap known as the rudder that's by and large straight. That already holds a few important clues as to what's going on. The plane's descending because there's probably not enough thrust, and the fact that the tail isn't deflected means that the loss of thrust is identical on both engines. Because if the loss of thrust is asymmetric, for example, the left engine's running, the right engine isn't, then the plane would start to yaw to one side. And as it yaws, you would have to use this flap at the other end to correct the airplane steering motion. We don't see that happen, which means that the loss of thrust was by and large identical. The other thing we don't see in that video, which is telling, is that the airplane isn't falling down. It looks like it's gliding. Maybe it's the nose is a bit steeply up in the air, but it's gliding. What that tells us, obviously this is early days, I will not claim authoritatively that this is true, but very likely the airplane hadn't stalled. Stall is what happens. I've heard some people talk about it, so I thought, maybe we should clarify what happens in a stall. When an airplane stalls, flow on these wings, which is ordinarily attached to the wings, starts getting disrupted. It starts creating patterns that are not conducive to these airplanes producing lift. What that does is it not only kills the lift, it also adds a lot of drag. And consequently, when
So
airplanes stall,
it had stalled, or it had not stalled.
it is most likely not stalled. Like I said, until we see the data, I don't want to claim with any authority that it had or had not stalled. But in all probability, based on my limited experience in this field, it hasn't stalled. The plane is coming down because there isn't enough thrust. Had the plane stalled, it would come down way more steeply than it seems to be coming at this point, based on my experience. Again, it's early days. Once we see the data, we'll get a much more fuller picture. So it looks like loss of thrust, and it's symmetric on both. It's symmetric, as in it's happening on both engines to by and large the same degree. So that's the first impression I got